What's up, guys? This is Chris White from Chris MTW Media, and last video we talked about the part one of the top 3 things that I wish I was taught in school, and that was how to build credibility. So if you want to check that out, go look in the video before this. So it would be on my page, and sure, why not? I'll drop a link. So part 2 and 3, I decided, you know what, I'm going to leave for the next time I shoot, because I made a reference that maybe you should learn maybe your personality, your purpose, the skills that you think you have, and figure out what's trending, and I think your purpose. I already said that before. You need to figure those out before you start on how to build credibility, because maybe you're experimenting, you don't know if this is it, where you're playing your flag, this is going to be where you're going to be for the rest of your life. Then if you don't figure these things out beforehand, you might be making a mistake of deciding to plant your flag instead of experimenting quickly to figure out what is the best for you. So I'm just going to try and map out the best I can what I recommend is the best way and the path I took. So before we get in, I want to just share the find of the day. The find of the day is this post that I saw on Reddit. If you don't know Reddit or you don't have the app, get the app. Look at the popular section every day. There's some funny stuff that pops up every now and then, and it was this meme, and this meme had this picture of this bed and this blankets, and a phone case was in the middle, and it was all snuggled up, and it said, "I rest my case." And I was like, this is amazing. So if you haven't checked that out, check it out. Today was pretty awesome. Just to rant about my friend Drew. Drew went ahead and asked Ashley to be his girlfriend, and I got to be a part of it. We had like 3 phones FaceTiming in, and he created this awesome necklace, and it was very like meaningful. He made the necklace, the cords, reference to their beliefs and their values, and the colors were their favorite colors, and I'm gonna leave it there because you don't know who's gonna be watching this video, because there's something hidden inside. So don't tell anyone I told you, and hopefully you don't know this guy. So Elon Musk and the 80 to 100 hour work week, and why I titled this that is because, oh my gosh, it's 5 a.m. Why I titled this is that because I've never heard that to be possible. When I heard this on YouTube, when I was listening to Elon Musk, he said, yeah, entrepreneurs should be working 80 to 100 hours a week. And at first I thought he was crazy. I remember back in the day I was working at Macy's or Express, and just 4 hours at the store was like murder. I like hitting the 5th or maybe the 6th, or even just the degree I got, just doing 12 hours or even less than that. Like so as a nurse, you're gonna be doing 12 hours. I don't know, like it was more tolerable. I can like reach that level, but man, it's difficult. And to be able to hit 80 to 100 hours a week as an entrepreneur, you gotta really love what you're doing. You gotta be passionate, and at the same time, you gotta figure out your strengths, where you should be, what you shouldn't say no to, all these things, all these intricacies. Make sure that you're not working on the business, you're working in the business. If you are working on the business, maybe keep it like tolerable. Working on the business is like developing the product, over-optimizing the service, making sure like things are just too good, and instead you need to be able to find clients and manage your team and make sales and make the pipeline full. So like, there's these like very nuances things with entrepreneurship. So how does Elon Musk work 80 to 100 hours a week? So I'm going to give my take on how that works. And I'm pulling from Steve Jobs and Will Smith. So Steve Jobs talks about, and check this out, YouTube, he talks about passion. And so search Steve Jobs and passion, and he talks about how if you have passion behind something, you're going to be able to outwork the next guy, because they're going to think no sane person will continue on working longer than this or past this point. And with Will Smith, he gives this treadmill quote that he would choose to die on the treadmill running than be beat. I think that pretty much sums it up. Like he won't be beat. He would rather die running on the treadmill. And if you think about those, Steve Jobs and Will Smith are pretty much saying the same thing. And it all has to do with flow. And the best way I could say this is what I just saw this by Chris Do in his business program. He says, happiness equals what you think, what you do, and what you say are all in alignment. And there's depth. And I think that also fits with passion and purpose, and it just feeds that energy, and it's just ongoing. You're able to do superhuman stuff, like 80 to 100 hour work week stuff, and you won't be able to glaze over that stuff anymore and be able to outdo your competition, be able to be an expert. So that's the hint of part 2 of the top 3 things I wish I was taught as a kid, is the expert level, getting there. And just as a sneak peek for that next video, so you're able to kind of get a taste, this is the pyramid of it all, and the higher you go, the more you get paid. So obviously there's some value in becoming an expert. There's value striving for that and leveraging your reputation, building expertise, building credibility, and how this all ties together. So we talked about Steve Jobs and passion. We talked about Will Smith and treadmill, and it all leads to expertise. It's that fuel for the rocket, for the vehicle, as Grant Cardone likes to say. You got to get the right vehicle. So how do we tap into that? And I said it before in the first video, it's most likely you need to get these things before you do the top 3 things I wish I was taught in school, which you got to figure out your personality and what is it like to be in, what is it not like to be in. Your purpose or your passion, just refining that. What do you think you are here on this world to do, to give to the world? And figure out what's trending and be able to catch that trend, and then your skills and what skills you need to be able to build the deep expertise in. So we're going to pick one today, and that's going to be purpose. And the reason why I'm choosing this is because I paid someone $2,300 just to try to figure this out, because I'm a complex dude. I don't know. It might be different for you, but it's hard for me to want to be able to be motivated to do something unless I'm really passionate. I have a lot of belief behind it that I need to do this, or this is made for me. So I hired this guy, Craig Filick from Purpose Mapping, and he had me take around 4, pick number 3, he had me take 4 personality tests, the Wealth Dynamics test. I'm a creator, by the way. Myers-Briggs, I'm an INFP, and the Enneagram, I'm a 7 wing 8. I think it's correct. 7 wing 8. And then I am a Sagittarius in the stars zodiac thing. And there's some kind of book with that. And just we kind of took all the keywords from the results and we lined them up, what it was saying. He had me write what I viewed as my hero's journey story of Chris, and I actually want to be able to just hyper focus what I think my story should be, so then I can just be more riveting as a person. Riveting as in just exciting, like inspiring, entertaining, educational. I want to be able to be all those things. And what's interesting is the book Riveting by Jim Davies. he pulled an article of the 12 categories that are that the news uses to pull attention. I thought that was really cool, and I narrowed it down to 3. Basically, anything that has a lot of violence, it bleeds, it leads. Like there's that movie called Nightcrawler. They kind of say that phrase. I think that's what it's called. And then heroism and acts of altruism. And then lastly, changes in status. So when a business helps someone, it's a change in status. When someone goes from a relationship to a non-relationship to a relationship, it's a change in status. So the 3 biggest markets, health, relationship, and wealth, those focus on getting people from a change in status of not so much wealth to a lot of wealth. Not having a house to having a house. Not having a business to having a business. Not having a girlfriend to having a girlfriend. Not having a wife to having a wife. Losing a wife to getting her back. Or, I don't know. To be able, from having tons of weight to losing a lot of weight. From not having a muscular body to having a muscular body. These are changes in status. And those are the things that are riveting. So I'm trying to get back on topic. So I took those 4 tests and I did the story, and what was awesome is he had me kind of refine it. So he's like, okay, so out of the list, narrow it down to 10, and then it narrowed down to 3. And then, okay, if you were to say into 3 words, using all the combination of those 3 things that you've mentioned, if we were to make a haiku, what would it be? And then if you were to close your eyes, if you were to be in your purpose, how would the world look different? So those are the questions he would be asking me, and it just helped me figure out and narrow down a strategy I can use to filter my opportunities. And I think that was a game changer for me because I wanted to save time. I think money can be made back, especially if you're shooting for deep domain expertise. You're going to be paid more. So you're only delaying your lack of pay in the future by not starting now. So that's kind of just how I saw it. And I wanted to leverage borrowed money to be able to get what I wanted, which was be in flow, have more energy, be excited about life, be able to outrun the next guy, be on the treadmill trying, be in the grind longer than the next guy, and he thinks that it's only you're insane if you continue past this point. Like I wanted that, so I was able to find that. Like I would go to the I would go to the salon, and I would help. This is my first client where I didn't sleep that night, and I barely even ate, and I was doing these awesome things that for this business and getting this result, and I just loved every minute of it. And the dream, the vision we were casting, and just be able to make that come more to life was amazing to me. And I was able to do more than what I thought I would be able to do, and especially with lack of sleep. And I think that's where that comes from, and I think that's how you can get closer to be able to get that. And just kind of today, before I went on this journey of my friend asking his friend to be his girlfriend, I was talking to a friend about the path of passion and purpose, and I think we came up with a strategy, like some axioms. I don't know if these are axioms. I just kind of connecting what I've heard and just making connections. So we discovered that the best case scenario is you experiment enough to where you found the direction and you've kind of honed in a little bit more of what you want to do, and you love the process of building deep domain expertise. And we're going to go into what is an expert, how do you become an expert in the next video. So the first path, the best path would be you love the grind, and the end result that you want is the kind of the icing on the cake. Like you don't even need it. You have the cake. And path number 2 would be is you desire the result so bad, but you despise the grind. It's just abhorrent, but you're able to kind of tolerate it. And I notice a lot of people pick path 2, or maybe Casey Neistat says this in his YouTube video about dreams. You were going after your dream, then you got hurt, or you just got failed or something, and you needed to, reality set in, and you needed to work to make money and to pay bills, and you gave up on your dream. So I think those are the 2 paths that people take, and I think if you find the first path, that's great. But if you're in the second path, to experiment cheaply and quickly as much as possible, and especially by figuring out what don't you like. And your personality gives tells to those things. Your interests give tells to those things. And then also figuring out a history of your past, of what things that you did like. That's another good tell to bring clarity. So I picked those 2 things from this book, Ask Method, and it's about surveying people. Even if you ask people what they want, it's not clear that people. It's hard for people to find clarity in that. But if you ask people, what don't you like? What don't you like about this? People get clear quick. And then if you ask them, what have you tried in the past? People are able to tell you directly, and it's very accurate compared to what do they want. They like think about these imaginary things, and it's not as accurate. So I really recommend that. And Tim Story, he talks about these different things. You can look up his course. I'll just give you an example, just maybe in story form. Tim Story story form. But anyways, my mom's dog, he's kind of like very lazy. He sleeps most of the day, and when I come down from the stairs, he's just like limp. And by the time like I was like, hey, like Fitz, come here, or any of that, he doesn't respond. There's no stimulation. He's just dead, and he just lies there. He's if you know Mike or Birbiglia, the comedian, I think that he has like a reference to this like Lazy Joe or like Crazy Joe, one of those guys, and he reminds me of him. But the dog, if I say squirrel or rabbit, he runs to the back door and he's looking for the rabbit or the squirrel because he wants to chase it down. And then he sprints because he's never caught this rabbit. He sprints like as if he's going to lose his life. And he just a minute ago, he was lack of energy, as if he was dead. And now he's full of energy. So you could tell that he's put value in that he likes the hunt of getting a rabbit or squirrel. So what is that for you? Like, what do you hear when somebody says this name or this word or this topic that just you're all ears and you want to talk more about it? You can talk all day about it. So that's one of the big tells that I just like. So hope you got out of this video. Just a lot sharing about my story, my life, and I look forward to seeing the next video about how to build expertise, deep domain expertise. And just as a kind of a sneak peek, we're going to be looking, we're going to dive a little bit in this book because it has to do with expert secrets, and learn a little bit from Blair Enns and from his book, Win Without Pitching, which is an amazing book, by the way. So see you in the next video.